aggressive move right there.
Are you still sold? Again, Kenyon Sadiq, would that be a good pick at 23?
I mean, it'd be a good pick because I think you'd have a tight end for the future. So I just don't think it would fix the offense.
I heard John say something to you that, okay, and he's right. He's not wrong. How he builds a team for the next 3 years. I got it. And I completely agree with that. But aren't you trying to make sure that you're getting the maximum out of this roster in this Super Bowl window right now? Because that would be 2 years in a row that you're talking about future plans more so than you're talking about current plans. They've done nothing this offseason.
Well, you know.
And if you lose AJ, Jalen Phillips, Reed Blankenship, Nakobe Dean, and you add AJ into that, bro, that's not a good offseason.
I agree with you, but remember, fans are always going to be fighting a different battle than the general managers, and that goes for the coach as well as compared to the general manager. Howie can't think in 1 year window, dude. Like, if Howie's thinking in a 1 year window, I got bad news for everybody. He's not going to be a good GM for very long. So that's naturally going to conflict at times with the mentality that you just took, Sills, which I agree with. I'm not upset at your mentality. We should be trying to go out there and win every week. By the way, they don't lower ticket prices when they're not trying to win. They don't lower ticket prices when they're building for the future. So I'm with you. You should have a mentality that they're all going to try, that they should be going all out every single year. But sometimes that's going to conflict with what's necessary for the team. And a lot of times you can't build the great things without putting that first. And I think this team is at a spot right now where if Howie is prioritizing the future, I can't really knock him for it. I mean, you have an offensive line that's in many ways, depleted from injuries at a young age. You have a Hall of Fame offensive lineman who's within a year or two of retirement. Jordan Mailata is almost 30 years old. You have a 29-year-old running back. You have a 30-year-old wideout on the way out the door. You can't sit there and just say, build for this year, or else one year you're going to wake up and be like, fuck, we're the New York Jets. We suck. So Howie has done a good job at the management of the now and the future all in one. And I think you're at a crux point because of the offense and the changing and the paying of the defense. So I can't kill him, dude, if he takes a guy for the future. But at the same time, I won't disagree with you that it shows you that their priority was more on that than it was on maximizing the 2026 window. I think that would be evident.
Prince, I'm going to take it from you on this one. You think this team's self-imploding in front of you?
No, not yet. I don't feel like that, no. That's just my general feeling. I don't feel like they're imploding, no. I feel like there's more drama. I feel like there's more passive-aggressive tones coming out, and I feel like you're getting closer to the bubble bursting. I don't think they're there yet, and I think what will be true is always true in sports. Winning cures all. And if they can come out and win a couple of games, I think they'll be able to find their rhythm and get back on track. If it gets ugly quick, or Sean Mannion struggles, or Jalen struggles, or Nick is throwing hissy fits early in the year, yeah, I think it could implode pretty quick. I'll say this. I think that bubble's ready to pop more now than it's ever been. So, which
you
means
think egos are getting in the way?
Yeah, but I mean, if it was egos, then yeah, it's ego a little bit, but I think there's reason for there to be concern. In other words, I don't think there's ego to the point like with AJ, it's ego because they've been super successful. With Jalen, it's not really ego.
Was Scott Leffler's ego.
I don't know, dude. Jalen hasn't really served his ego if you think about it. I mean, he's the one who took a back seat to Saquon Barkley, didn't care at all. Now, he got a lot of glory for it, don't get me wrong, but he did take a back seat as well, statistically and numbers-wise. So it's not like they've been super successful and somebody's jumping in front of, the egos are there because the offense isn't good enough. Now, maybe they have different visions for how to fix it, but I think they're all on common ground that the offense isn't good enough. We got to be better.
Okay, so you're Newt Rockney, Nick Sirianni. How do you think his leadership has been handling all this BS with the team?
How do I feel? Who's dealing with it?
Your version of Newt Rockne, Nick Sirianni. How do you think his leadership has been handling all this BS?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been some questionable decisions, but at the end of the day, I think overall he's done a pretty good job. I mean, when you look at the style of offense that the Eagles are running,
You lose
there's a reason.
you lose AJ Brown, and you lose it over
I
what?
don't think I see that's where you're right. It's not a good look, but I don't think AJ Brown doesn't want to be here because Nick Sirianni. Now, maybe he doesn't like Nick, but he doesn't like the style of offense they play. Now, if you believe some people do, if you believe the style of offense is solely because of Nick Sirianni's wants and desires, well, I don't
I think it's his wants and desires because of the limitations of the quarterback.
because of the roster he has, to put it
Yeah.
like that.
He's built this team in the image of the quarterback's efficiency.
Yeah, if Nick Sirianni crafted a team from scratch, I don't
It
think he
looked
would
like
choose
Rivers.
to run. Yeah, I don't think he would choose this offense.
No.
And that means I think Nick would or AJ would be more okay with it. So, I don't really put AJ on Nick. I mean, I don't know, do you? You
Yeah.
put T.O. on Andy?
Well, here, I would say this, like a controlling guy. Look at how Mike Tomlin handled Antonio Brown to get the best years out of him. And when he was too much of a guy that couldn't handle, he said, we're getting rid of the guy. And he got rid of him. But he got the best out of Antonio Brown. And they did as much winning as they possibly could. And I just, when things go south with Nick, dude, they just look, there's worse.
You're right. It's when it gets ugly, it seems to get really ugly.
Like 23, and you know what it's almost seeming like too? The ending of the 49er game. Don't you think that 49er game was carried over into the offseason a little bit? Where there's no answers. So if you go get this Jonathan Grenard guy, Zander, you're going to give that guy $30 million and he's a lesser player than Jalen Phillips, and you're going to pay him the same money for a player. Jalen Phillips was younger, and you're going to give up a third rounder for him? Why the fuck wouldn't you have signed Phillips if you're going to go down that lane?
Well, I think Phillips, they didn't want to go to 30 on Phillips, and Phillips got paid by somebody
You may
else.
have to go to 30 with Grenard.
Yeah, well, maybe they think Grenard's a better player for a shorter term.
An older player who has not been as productive. I don't know.
He's been as productive as Phillips. He's been more productive than Phillips.
So then you're going to pay him 30. What's the difference? You had a guy in the building.
Look, I don't think I'm in the room for trading for Grenard.
Me too.
I don't.
I'd rather draft
even just you laying it out right there.
I'd rather draft
a second rounder.
Yeah, I'd rather draft
30 million. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense to me.
I'd rather draft a kid, right?
I just don't think Howie's going to draft a defensive end in round 1 this year.
With the 23rd overall pick, the Eagles select Ty Simpson, starting quarterback.
Nah, I can guarantee you that's not going to happen.
How about second or third round?
With Ty won't make it to second.
No. With a quarterback.
You mean another quarterback? I think if one of them gets picked, I don't think Jalen has much worrying to do. I mean, you think Carson Beck is coming for the job?
I never thought Jalen Hurts was coming for the job of Nick Foles.